not are more stable. Whereas Slark is one of those heroes where you typically see him being a bit more active during the mid game. Not to say that basically Unknown can't play that way, but if you have Juggernaut, you're guaranteeing like an Omni Slash during a team fight can pretty much and a Shaker and a Static Storm on top of that. But for the Slark, it's kind of like you still have to outplay, if that makes sense. Like you have to be in and out of the fights. You can't get caught by too many disables. You're pretty much just dead. So there are some weaknesses of picking the Slark here.
NIP here. They're going to go for a straight smoke up here into the dire jungle, and they are going to find basically Unknown. To be more specific, they're going to find Pure Evil, and Pure Evil with the Nightmare setup. They've got the Hoof Stomp, they've got the Light Strike Array. There's no running away for this disruptor. They don't even need the Hoof Stomp. That's first blood. They're going to error on his signature Shadow Fiend.
That is actually a huge deal, starting with 12 souls. Like, instead of having only like 40, I think 49 base damage with the Wraith Band, he has, what, 70? 73? Like against Magnus, that is the dream. Arise is going to have a heck of a lot harder time in this middle lane because of that first blood than he would normally.
Alrighty, and as we see the lanes start to take shape, let's get ourselves familiarized with the teams for this second game of the series between NIP and basically Unknown here at the ASUS ROG DreamLeague Season 3. On the side of NIP, we're going to be seeing SealKid on the Bane in this aggressive position by the looks of it with Limp on the center. Also at the moment up here, we're seeing Hansken on that support leaner. Mid lane will be Error on his Shadow Fiend, finally leaving this solo safe lane Batrider. So the side of NIP choosing to run their lanes aggressively. I'm OD Pixel, I'm here with Draskell. Andy, what are we seeing from the Dire?
Well, first off, Arise is going to be having a rough lane here on the Magnus. Behind him is going to be Pure Evil, guy who gave it first blood on Disruptor. Stomanin going to be handling the Witch Doctor. Nico Baby with Slark, and of course it leaves the safe lane Shaker played by Relax for the second game in a row.
So obviously this is nice, but basically Unknown, they're taking the Slark away from this aggressive tri-lane, which you really don't want Nico Baby to be in.
You want the Slark to have the easiest lane possible, and this is pretty much the best place for him to be.
Oh, look at this wrap around here towards the mid lane. Arise, has he gone out too far? SealKid will look for the Nightmare, but won't be able to find the range to do so. Arise is going to be okay as the wrap around is unsuccessful. And off the back of that, we'll see if Hansken and SealKid do decide to opt towards that bottom lane, because they really want to be where the Slark is. They want to make sure that Nico Baby gets absolutely nothing in the early game, because if Slark doesn't get a good start, he's not going to be having a good game.
Well, he does have the recovery method of getting empowered by the Magnus, which we've seen time and time again. Basically, Unknown are great at playing around the Mag. Not even necessarily relying on the RPs, but just the way that they farm. They're always like, oh.
And they've got a Light Strike Array here from Hansken. Do they have the damage to bring down this Witch Doctor with the contribution of Yosen Fan as well? It should be enough. The Paralyzing Cast does bounce through. It's not enough to stop Witch Doctor going down. It's going to be the second kill on the board for NIP as Lina is able to take that one home for the team.
Yeah, really nice kill. Just the support combo of a Bane and a Lina is almost a guaranteed kill on everyone on basically Unknown, except for maybe the Magnus and Slark if he gets a pounce away. But if you're good at body blocking, you can actually stop him from pouncing and still manage to get that kill. Now, looks like they're going to switch up the lanes. Basically, Unknown sending Nico Baby towards top, which I do think is the right call. You want to just have him get the most farm possible. He is your position one. And if you have a Slark who's ahead with Empower, it can be very, very hard to come back from that with NIP's lineup, because all of their abilities are very easy to Dark Pact. So Bane has notoriously long animations for all of his abilities. Centaur Stomp is pretty much the same. And you can also Dark Pact things off like Lasso. So if he does get ahead, it's going to be a nightmare for Nip.
And, I mean, they do need, well, sort of basically on that, they do need to find the farm on Nico Baby, because the farm for Rise isn't happening at the moment. You talked about the advantage that SF was going to have going into that lane, and it's certainly apparent. 17 for 6 on Error compared to Rise's 9 for 2 at the moment.
Yeah, it's no real surprise. I mean, you start off with 24 plus damage. Like, that's the equivalent of having phase boots.
They're trying to go on Pure Evil. Pure Evil does have the backup of Nico Baby. Nico Baby seeing if he can find something as he goes onto Hansken. The bounces, though, between Hansken and SealKid, setting something very nicely up here for basically maybe in return. SealKid and Hansken, they did find the kill onto Disruptor, but down goes the leader. Oh, Limp finds the Witch Doctor as well as a 2-for-1. Nico Baby seeing if he can clean this one up, chasing down Limp here. The salve will be there on the Centaur. Salve as well from Nico Baby. He hasn't got the mana for another pounce yet, but it is going to be enough in a second. He's just going to look to TP out. It looks like Limp will be able to get himself out. So 2-for-1 trade there, favoring NIP, and now Error just bullying Arise straight out of the mid lane here as well. Things looking very good for NIP here in the laning stage.
Oh, did get a spot on Stomanin here in the woods. I do not think Error is close enough to go for a kill, but they will continue just harassing. And I do think that Nip with this kind of a start, like, Air Shadow Fiend is one of his best heroes.
Oh, yeah.
And he has had possibly the best start you could hope for. I mean, less than 4 minutes in, he's got 24 CS and 7 denies. And he got first blood. I don't know, man. Like, that's, to me, if I was basically Unknown, I would be very worried.
Yeah, it's been a tough lane here for Rise, but he's hanging on. And, you know, if anyone was going to deal with this kind of a bad start, a Rise on his Magnus, he's going to be the guy to do it. We always see him get pretty respectable timings on the Blink Dagger, regardless of how the lane goes in the earlier stages. But I think this is arguably one of the hardest lanes we've seen him in this tournament.
Yeah, the Shadow Fiend versus Orange matchup is usually one that's even, and top we're going to see Pure Evil just get picked off in the woods here.
I mean, this is the thing. Against that trifactor, if you get caught out by a Nightmare, you're dead.
Yeah, you're a goner.
You're just gone.
No way of getting away from the Nightmare into Light Strike Array into Stomp and Double Edge. It's just the dream combination. And to be honest, the movement of the supports from Nip has been great. Like, this is the difference between having these supports who have the potential to control the game, as opposed to what we saw in Game 1, where they had a Rubik and a Shadow Demon. Those heroes don't really control as much unless you have very high damage dealing cores to gank for. Now in this game, the two of them alone can do a lot of work, and we're seeing it here.
It was a TPM from the Witch Doctor just to try and buy Nico Baby some space here. And in terms of CS, the Slark's not doing too bad. He's second on the board at the moment. The harassment hasn't been too much for Nico Baby to deal with, and he's still finding farm. And as you said, once more levels come apparent on the Magnus, he'll be able to get the Empower onto Nico. And oh, 1-2 combo. Brings down the Witch Doctor. Nico Baby trying to find a kill and return onto Handscan. With the pounce forward, might be able to find something, but he's also going to pay with his life here. He gets caught out by the Light Strike Array from the grave from Lina, giving Limp on the center a double kill. Now, I mean, at least he found something on his way down there, Nico Baby, but it's not great dying on the Slark at this point.
That commitment was a little bit awkward in the first place for the reason that you just mentioned. Like, in the best case scenario, he trades the 1-for-1, but you're still trading your life for a support. Like, that's still not worth it. So I'm not really sure why he decided that going for that kill was the right play, but he does secure it. He'll make his way back to lane and continue his farm. Once he gets 6, he can do that and actually not die.
Yeah.
That's the big difference, is having the Shadow Dance basically enables you, especially during nighttime, to just juke around trees, get your health regen going, just escape a really bad situation, and maybe look to trade 1-for-1 supports.
I'm looking at these two heroes on both sides, the ones reliant on the blink timing. Limp, how's he doing in terms of farm? With that double kill, he's almost certainly got quite a bit of gold here. Yeah, 800 gold on your Centaur. How's the progress of the Earthshaker looking on the bottom lane here for Relax? He himself as well, working his way towards 1k. So, I mean, these are the heroes that, when they both get blinked, that's when we're going to see real aggression come out from both sides. I mean, even regardless of the fact we're seeing so much from NIP anyway with this trial. They're going to look for more now on the top lane.
Oh god, not again.
Again.
No, the Nightmare! Oh god, the cast animation is so long.
Oh, Nico Baby very likely to get a pounce off. They're going to use the Stampede to get themselves in position, but it looks like
that
Centaur
Nightmare toggle
is well, yeah, Disruptor pays with his life there. Does manage to get Nico Baby out, but Arrow coming in as well. Paralyzing cost for Stamana. Nico Baby considering whether he can reveal himself back out from the tree line, because NIP, 4 heroes up here on the top lane, it's not really somewhere that you want to show yourself. But Rise, he's been given a nice bit of space here in the mid lane, and 1400 gold. Well on his way now over 2/3 towards that Blink Dagger. So as long as he doesn't get picked off, it's still going to be a pretty good timing on the Blink Magnus.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad, but this is typical of Rise, right?
Yeah.
Like, he bottle crows a ton, even though his top lane right now is kind of getting massacred here. Still want to throw in the nickel and arrow, just trying to force him back. But the blink timing is very important because it allows you to actually fight. Like right now, they have Shaker ulti still, and the Shaker is up to 1,350 gold too. So it's not as if basically Unknown are just getting completely trounced. It's more just like the support rotations from Nip have kind of shut down the early laning phase for mid and top. But they've left alone bottom lane pretty much entirely. It's just going to be up to blink timings and who can take the better mid-game initiations, I think. Who's going to decide that's the winner of this game?
Yeah, it looks like Nip, they still want to fight here. 3 heroes in the jungle. Steel Kid looking for that Nightmare initiation. He's a little bit low on the mana for it though. He needs 5 more, heading towards, back towards the top lane. As it's just Witch Doctor and Slark here at the moment. Nico Baby having to back up, and we are getting to the point now where Nico Baby's deficiency in terms of farm is becoming apparent. I mean, he's now sitting behind the Earthshaker on his team. Relax has found more space than this Slark 8 minutes in.
Well, I think that's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. Obviously, you want the Slark to farm, but if Relax gets a couple of good echoes and the Slark is there for the team fights, he'll make his money back. Like that's not really a huge issue. It's more like, is the Blink Dagger going to allow Real to find those engagements? Like, if he can find the good echoes, then it's more than worth it, I think. It just depends on the individual player skill when you come down to Blink initiations and such. And Era, living life on the edge here in middle lane.
Oh, taking a few punches here from the tower. He is very close to the mechanism, just under 400 gold away from finishing off that recipe. And the Rise now, is very, very close to that Blink Dagger. There we go. So that, again, 9 minutes in. That's from a lane that he was pretty much getting trounced in the start. This is classic Rise.
Yeah, well, Era did rotate. Like, he left to kill the tier 1 in the safe
space.
lane, so there was time for Arise to be able to find his Blink Dagger, and he even buys a smoke with it. Pretty standard Arise play. Every time he gets the Blink, he always goes for the smoke. And we saw a lot of people doing this with, like, Axe as well. Just your Blink timing, and then boom, immediate smoke, go for a kill. And this is the time where basically Unknown can look to try to recover their pretty bad laning phase.
And where's Arise going to head to? He's still sitting in base at the moment. It hasn't smoked up as of yet. Undecided on where to make the jumps happen. Gonna head towards the mid lane here with Pure Evil. Pure Evil still yet to hit 6. No static storm available, but of course Relax has got that Echo Slam. And there we go, the 3-man smoke up. Where are they going to head for? Are they going to find anyone here? Rise going to jungle. They're smoked up themselves. NRP, they're all grouped up as well. It's going to be a massive RP onto 2. Sealkid and Hanski getting caught out of there. The follow no, because Relax, he's been caught out by the Batrider and finally gets the Echo Slam out, but Era, he's just too tanky. The Earthshaker going down there, and now the side of NRP, they're going to look for more limp. He finds the Who-Stop onto the Disruptor. Disruptor gets blown up as well. And I've got to say, that lasso there from Jonas and fans stopping Earthshaker getting off anything to follow up that RP ensured that NRP just came out on top of that fight.
That was really unfortunate because I'm pretty sure Rise didn't end up using his skewer there. I don't know if he ran out of mana or what the deal was, but he definitely didn't skewer, because if he had skewered those 2 into the Shaker, it would have been like a guaranteed kill. But I think because of the angle of the fissure, he wasn't able to get himself in the right spot to actually skewer the enemies to the right, because the fissure was horizontal in terms of where they were.
Well, Rise will skewer back Yonason fan here, and
Nice.
I'm kind of used to seeing these clowning Yonason fan plays over the last couple of days. He sometimes does this, doesn't he?
He's very hit or miss.
He is.
He's had some really good plays.
He really has.
And he's also had some I'm going to miss casting Sprout on myself plays.
Yes.
Now that one is a bit clowny.
And also, I'm going to walk around as a level 5 clockwork with
into no vision and then just die. Yeah, that was also a thing.
And then there was that one, the classic blink into a Magnus who's going to skewer you back into the rest of his team. So, oh well, it doesn't matter. As you said, Jonas fan, other than that, he's been having a top play over the majority of the games at least. And, well, as I was pretty much just praising his blink initiation earlier. Of course, onto the lasso, onto the Earthshaker. So it's looking good for NRP still. 10 for free. Basically Unknown having a bit of a tough start here. You know, the difference in terms of net worth on these heroes now. Shadow Fiend, Era 6.6k gold. This is a massive lead for the Shadow Fiend.
I wonder if he goes BKB here or if he just goes back for something like the SNY. Like, sometimes you can justify delaying the BKB if you think that another item is going to allow you to kind of deal more damage or add more utility to the team fight other than just having the magic immunity.
Yeah.
Because I feel with Nip's lineup, he might not need a BKB that early. If they find an initiation with a lasso, like, the RP still goes through BKB anyway. Sure, the follow-up damage won't be that crazy, but we will see. He has bought the Ogre Club, so we'll see if it's going to be that Sange and Yasha or if it's going to be BKB.
Ooh, Arrow with the Invis rune. Seeing if he could wrap around on anyone. Basically, I know they did smoke up. They have got the RP available again. They want to see if they can find something here. Our eyes. He heads for Mika Baby will dispel the smoke as Jonas and found Super. There's your RP onto the Batrider Fisher as well. Bringing down Skewer onto 2. And the Echo Slam's massive. The mech nullifies some of the damage. In fact, NRP, they haven't lost anyone as of yet. And I don't think they will. Nico Baby getting caught out. The Shadow Dance buying him sometime, but he will still fall here as the final punches from Era come through. Slark, the only one to die in this fight. And as nice as the RP and the Echo Slam was, it didn't find anything. Jonas and Fan goes forward with the help of Era. They bring down the Earthshaker. They do lose the Batrider here. Now with the Fiend's Grip onto Pure Evil, they're going to turn the 2-for-1 into a 3-for-1. Era gets a triple kill. And basically Unknown, they had the RP, they had the Echo Slam, but it just wasn't enough to take that fight.
That was almost one of the best initiations you could have asked for. And like, he only RP'd one, but his skewer actually caught Limp when he was walking in to get a stomp off. So he gets skewered into an immediate blink echo on a rise.
Oh, there's your skewer, giving Era the old horn, and Era trying to walk it off. Oh, Nico Baby misses the pounce. The casting through the death ward onto Era. It's not going to be quite enough. There will be another TP Era. He's looking to be in a bit of a bad position. Going to get himself out. No, he can't. Arise finishes off there with a blink shockwave. Getting a lot of money as well for that kill, ending Era's dominating kill streak. And the rest of the side of NIP will be able to get themselves out there. So NIP just hanging around a little bit too long after that very successful engagement for the side.
And in the meantime, Nico Baby now securing his Midas after the last couple of engagements that we've seen here. And he is a big fan of that item. He really likes Midas.
And you're not, are you, Jessica?
No, I like Midas actually a lot.
Okay.
I buy it like all the time when I play pubs. But the thing is, Midas is one of those items that can be punished very hard. And in both games so far, it seems like he buys Midas when not only are they behind, but the enemy team is pressuring a lot. So it's one of those choices that can easily backfire, but if it goes to that late game stage, like 50+ minutes,
yeah, it worked out first game,
then it can work out. So it's just like the risk versus reward.
Yeah.
Because right now, this is a Slark with 800 health. Like, if he gets caught, he explodes. And the question is, how do you play around it? You just go farm, you continue to get your items, and then you hope that by the time NIP are pushing high ground that you have what you need to defend. Or you find like a couple of picks with the Rise buying Magnus and you have a Blink Shaker already as well. So there are actually heroes in the team of basically Unknown to make room for him. I just think that going Midas is like extremely greedy when you're this far behind. Well, I shouldn't say this far behind, but you're kind of behind.
We'll actually have a look at the graph, see how far in the numbers. It's just over 5,000 in terms of net worth, 3k in terms of XP. So, as you said, they're behind, but they're not massively behind. There is still the potential for basically them to pull some big old shenanigans off. Limp, Hands Ken, and Sealkid, they're smoked up and heading into the dire jungle here. Got the Fiend script, they've got all the ults available here. Lasu and Stampede are ready to go. Who are they going to catch up? We're going to see Lasu straight away onto Slark here. Nico Baby getting caught out and blown up. That is your Slark deleted. Now Pure Evil will drop the field. Oh, the Fiend script there into the Laguna Blade. Disruptor is going nowhere. 2 heroes down on basically Unknown, and NIP lose nothing and gain everything here as they look to take down this tier 2 as well. 16 minutes into the game.
Well, all of a sudden that Midas not seeming like the best choice, as another tier 2 is going to be dropping, or I should say the first tier 2 is going to be dropping, as NIP have not lost a tower. They have maintained all their tier 1s, even at 16 minutes. I'm not really sure how often you see that, to be honest, because not only are all these towers alive, but heck, some of them are pretty much full HP, like the offlane tower. Safe lane's only lost like 200 health. It's a bit concerning for basically Unknown.
Yeah, I mean, I guess basically Unknown, it's not, they haven't really got the potential to push with their lineup. They've just got the potential to fight, and it's just been a shame for them that the fighting hasn't really favored them so far.
Yeah, they had one pretty decent engagement bottom when they skewered the Shadow Fiend back, but that was after a fight that they had already lost.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like more of a recovery thing than taking a really good engagement. But Smoke up here, they have everything available. Shaker's even got his mango, just in case he runs out of mana. So they have RP, they got Echo, they have Static Storm. This is a very, very powerful 5-man team. So if NIP get caught out like once or twice and they lose like a handful of heroes from that, I'd say basically Unknown get back into the game right away. Like, they are just making all the space in the world for their Slark player. Like, that's what they want. Like, their vision shows that they want to be aggressive. They even have one ward up in their own jungle. I think that was, placed some time ago. Because NIP were playing aggressive and as it just dies there, but...
I mean, as you said, Nico Baby at the moment on his Slark, sitting at 5.6k gold. He is just over 3,000 behind the highest on the board Era. But if the game continues for what, a good 20 or so more minutes, I wouldn't be surprised if this is like at the top. Stampede will be used because they are catching out Nico Baby and they'll blow him up. And this isn't going to help basically Unknown if their Slark keeps getting picked off like this.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a backfire to smoke into NIP's woods because they didn't find anybody. And then they have a tier 1 in every single lane, so counter ganking is a thing when your tier 1s are alive. They can TP to it, and if you don't have a lane ward down, you can very easily just end up getting caught out, which is pretty much exactly what just happened to Nico right there. But the fact that he's gone Midas kind of just means unless he's very on point with his Shadow Dance usage and team fights, he can't really come to the fight. And there's only level 1 in power right now, so Arise needs more levels before he's going to be able to abuse that cleave and farm the woods. And I don't really think that Nip are willing to give them that time.
He's got level 2 RP now, has a haste rune as well here, trying to see if he can find anyone from the side of NIP. He's run straight at them, the side of NIP, trying to keep themselves split up. He goes for an ambitious skewer.
I think he might have tried to RP there, and maybe just messed it up, because I think the RP would have actually hit both heroes.
Oh, crucial. Limp going in onto Nico Baby. Now the blink forward from Jonas and Fan. He doesn't pop down the lasso. BKB's actually been popped by error here. Just, I guess, a little bit scared.
He was expecting that to be a lasso, right? That has to be it. He was expecting him to lasso, and then the fight would have just come out there, and he was expecting counter initiation from Blink heroes, and since the lasso didn't land, it just seemed like a really weird BKB. A lot of awkward things happening in this game. I think Arise wanted to RP and just didn't. Like, maybe he tried to shift Q and just messed it up. And then Era thought that there was going to be a lasso and counter initiation, and then there wasn't. So, a lot of ifs and buts here in this game.
It's still looking like a tough game for basically Unknown at the moment. Nico Baby, where's he at the moment? They've got him actually up here, looking for a kill potentially onto the Centaur. The Snapper will be popped, but the kinetic field won't be making. The Paralytic Cast will buy the time and space for Nico Baby to get the pounds into the death ward. As tanky as he is, there's no escape here for Limp on the Centaur. That's a mega kill streak going to Rise there as he picks up that tasty amount of bonus gold here on the Magnus.
Yeah, that's his Force Staff as well. Force Staff on Mag is fantastic because a lot of the time, when you just have Blink, you always use your skewer after RP to push enemies into you, which means you don't have a way of getting away from the fight. You're just moving people out of position. But with the Force Staff, you can skewer and also get yourself to safety, which is great. So that way you don't have to worry about just giving up your life immediately after if you get like a bad RP.
And do NIP go for Roshan here? They've got her on the SF with the double damage. It looks like they're going to give their shot. The pings are coming out from Arise. He's aware that they're doing it. Now, can he contest it? They do still have that RP available on Magnus. Ping's coming out on Nico Baby. Looks like he's just going to continue to farm. Now, will they be able to get themselves to the pit in time? Roshan falling very, very quickly here to Era. Of course, even Hansken committing with his right clicks with the RSL passive stacking up. But yeah, it looks like basically Unknown, they don't want to go for this one.
The question is, could they have even fought, honestly? Like with DD on the Shadow Fiend, I guess ultimately you would want to contest. But the vision that they have is not actually around the Roshan pit. It's just kind of in the jungle and in the river. So maybe they just didn't know 100% if that was going to be the case. But after seeing the Roshan drop, Nico Baby's kind of pressuring top lane. He's not going to be able to really get the tower as he's quite low at the moment. But he's also rushing BKB, which he did in the previous game as well. So this seems to be the Nico patented build.
Indeed it does, and he certainly is catching up as we'd expect. You know, he's now level with all the other 7Ks on the board, the Batrider and the Centaur. In terms of XP, in terms of levels, he's only one behind the Shadow Fiend, so the catching up is certainly happening. Stampede will be used as they're trying to get Nico Baby here. The Life Breaker Ray will catch him as well. He's got the Dark Pact and pounce away with the TP, and I think he gets away here unless they can find a Nightmare, but they can't. Seal Kid couldn't find it to cancel the TP, and Nico Baby very lucky to get away with his life there.
Nice frog pathing, baby rage. For some reason, he was just walking into the tree instead of walking around, because sometimes when it sees that a hero is there, the game knows it, but you don't because you don't have vision. So when you click, obviously your pathing is blocked, and that's pretty much what's happening.
Oh, there's your RP onto the Batrider with the Death Ward as well. Jonas and Fan is almost certainly going to die, and he does indeed. A nice little bit of an old 1-2 there from the combo of Arise and Summer.
Really nice combo there. And it's okay to expend RP if you think you're going to get a tower out of it. Like for that engagement, they saw a couple of TPs top, so they say, okay, fine, you want a TP top, we'll use an RP for 1 kill and then try to secure a tier 1, because a tier 1 is actually more valuable, I think, right now than even getting like 1 or 2 hero kills, just to try to get the extra room on the map, because they still have not killed a single tower. But Nip, moving a little bit too quickly, able to pull basically Unknown back, as tier 3 is now being threatened.
Thanks to these kills, 22 minutes in, basically Unknown Witch Doctor, he's got himself an Aghanim Scepter.
Yep.
It's crazy timing.
Yeah, he's actually managed to accumulate a decent amount of CS for a support player. And having that up with a 1 good RP, that can just be game-changing. It bounces to pretty much every single person you're going to catch out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Well, side of NIP, they just TP themselves back towards the bottom lane, and And none are going to be happy with that, not having to deal with the aggression, especially with the fact that RP is on cooldown at this moment in time. And it's, yeah, Slark is closing in up on that net worth board at 8.2k, chasing up to Era. And how is he doing in terms of the progress on the BKB? He had enough for the Mithril Hammer. How's he doing for the recipe? He's very close to having enough for it now. So BKB is almost certainly going to be up for the next fight, the next defense. And that's going to make it very hard for NIP to control this slot, because I mean, what have they got that goes through the BKB? I guess they've got the Lasso and the Fiend's Grip, but if he's able to be very careful with his positioning, it's...
He just has to make sure that he staggers his Dark Pact and his Shadow Dance. Like, that's the one thing about playing Slark that a lot of people could learn from, is making sure that you don't Dark Pact during your ultimate unless you know that you're going to kill those heavy disables on the other team. Because otherwise what happens is, like, you would want to ideally BKB, and then after the BKB wears off, you Shadow Dance. And then you pop your Dark Pact after the Shadow Dance ends. Like, obviously you can throw in 1 or 2 between the BKB because it's 10 seconds long. But if you time it well, you have a very long time in which you cannot actually be locked down.
Silkid will be able to get the tower here on this mid lane. It's both Nika Baby and the Rise back themselves off. He's going to find Nika Baby the Stampede. Shadow Dances pod Nika Baby trying to juke this one out. Light Striker Ray won't connect. He's got the double pack to move the Uznong. And there's your RP. It's only going to catch out Limp, relax for the follow-up Fisher. And now going to some fan with Lasso onto the left, dragging him away from the rest of this team. Arise will TP out. The Laguna Blade helps to finish off the Earthshaker. But, of course, Arise and Nika Baby do escape, so sacking the Earthshaker for that one, and that's enabled Nika Baby now to pick up his completed BKB.
Yeah, the BKB is huge. It allows the Slark to actually go in, whereas previously it was very hard because of the reasons that we mentioned earlier, like the Lina having a significant amount of burst damage. I mean, heck, he's making his way towards Aghanims and already has Yules too, and he's level 11. So eventually there's going to be an Aghanims up on that hero, and when that happens, your BKB is not going to really do much. So hopefully Nico's item progression remains pretty constant. He can maybe make his way towards a Scotty or something like that. But otherwise, having the BKB means if he's empowered, he uses a Shadow Dance, pops BKB or whatever, and he goes in. He can deal a pretty good amount of damage.
He certainly can indeed. Jenison fan, how's he done on his back? He's got the Ogre Club, still working towards that BKB. Era on top of his first ultimate orb, 2.6k, and we'll almost certainly see Era go for that Skadi, because Era, he's a big fan of the old Skadis.
Yeah, but Skadi is much better on Shadow Fiend than I think it is on Gyro. But it is an item that he loves buying. I think he was actually one of the first players, I want to say it was at TI3, where he bought a Scotty on Shadow Fiend during a game. And I think it was their elimination game as well. And it showcased how good it can actually be on the hero, because having the slow, being BKB'd, already doing a ton of damage through Necromastery, and that was before Scotty actually received a multitude of buffs. Like, that's how much he likes that item. Like, that was back when Scotty was actually pretty crap for how much it costed. Or cost.
Roshan is going to be up in a few minutes. And Limp, how's he doing? Yeah, on top of the Hood of Defiance, he will be working towards that Aghanim Scepter with the point booster picked up. And he's only 200 gold away from that, so we're going to see Aghanims come out very, very soon for Centaur.
Aghanim's ulti is so terrifying for basically Unknown. Like, what happens if they RP, for example, or like they get a Shaker ulti, but then a Centaur ulti is popped? Because for the duration of it, like almost 4 seconds, you're not going to have any damage follow-up whatsoever. So even if you drop a Static Storm on it, or you get an RP into like a good skewer, the Centaur ulti can completely mitigate any form of initiation that you have. So you kind of want to go on Limp, but if you go on him, he's got 1700 health and a Hood. He's a Centaur. Like, you don't want to focus him. I think the Centaur is going to become more of an issue in the sense that he is guaranteed counter initiation, and also allows the Batrider to find his target and pull it extremely far out of position. Like, you can use it either way. So I think the flexibility of Nip's lineup is going to become a little bit of a problem for basically Unknown.
It's just a question of when these teams want to try and find a fight for themselves. Ara's got himself bottled up a double damage ring. Maybe they look to go up top and look to fight against basically Unknown, who have come out their base a little bit, but they're backing straight back up to the high ground. They don't want to be caught out here by this strength and power of NIP. So NIP will look to clear out this wave and get to that point where both teams are just having to be very careful about the potential of a fight kicking off.
Yeah, it's a pretty tense situation for both teams right now. It's only 28 minutes in, but it actually feels like the game's been going on for quite a bit longer than that. Like the farm rate is kind of accelerated in comparison to what we normally see, because people aren't fighting as much in this game. Like I've seen more kills in like a 10-minute game yesterday, for example. So the pace is a little bit slow, a little bit more patient from both teams, trying to find the right opportunity to jump. And they might just be waiting for Roshan too. Because Roshan for Nip should almost ensure high ground push at this point. And we will see how long the Roshan hammer is going to be there.
Reels himself up, but there's a lot of people here on the side of basically Unknown. Stampede comes out, but because Hansken was used up, it didn't affect him.
Oh my god, the 3-man stop.
Very nice static song as well. Because from before he's done, but already lost one. They're going to lose 2. It's a 2-for-2. So when Deadpool comes out, he's looking at it go, and he's trying to look at it go as much as he can. Limp, he's getting it. No! He didn't look at it go hard enough. Limp stays alive. It ends up being a 3-for-2 there, as NIP come out on top, and they're ready to push.
That was almost the coconut of dreams. Almost.
Oh boy, it was so close, but not close enough.
Yeah.
Era staying alive throughout all of that, cementing himself at the top of the net worth, 15k. Oh, Lim might get caught out here because he goes up to the high ground. Nico Baby is there, will find the pounce to connect. Lim's fairly tanky, but he's not going to be tanky enough. The Stew actually misses, but it doesn't matter. Nico Baby is able to bring down the Centaur War, and are now on a killing spree on this Slark, and Slark now the top of the net worth for the side of basically Unknown. He's got a heavy game to carry, but they're still in a position where the Slark could be able to do it.
I mean, the fact that he's been able to have this Midas for so long, he's got his Yasha up. I'm guessing that's just going to be a standard SNY. He's got Empower. Like, there is a way for basically Unknown to make their way back into this. Their high ground defense is amazing. Like, Shaker, Disruptor, Magnus, Witch Doctor with Ags. Like, are you kidding me? Breaking that base is tough. And I think during the ultra late game, Nip probably lose just in the sheer fact that it's Slark. And if you can't burst the Slark, you're never going to kill him. So the later the game goes, the tankier he gets, the more damage he'll deal throughout the team fight with that Empower. He still has his BKB available. There is some emphasis on Nip trying to finish the game, I think, sometime within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Because if the Slark is allowed to just continue to free farm like he's been doing, you're going to have some problems.
You really are. Roshan's going to be up very, very shortly as well. NIP and basically Unknown both in the nearby. Unknown just pushing out the bottom lane, NIP turn towards the mid. But still. And now Nico Baby, part of this this group of basically Unknown, he's ready to fight, and he's happy to fight with the SMY picked up. And they're going to go for Roche here, NIP. They're heading towards the pit. Oh my god,
this timing. It's going to spawn like right before they go into the pit.
Now, where's your RP? This. Basically Unknown. Are they going to go? Are they going to head
like
towards
no
the pit?
vision from either team.
No. There was some up on the high ground, but NIP, they're in the pit. Basically Unknown, are they going to sense this one out?
Okay, they gotta know. There's no one defending bottom. Like, somebody should be there to be farming.
Roshan's low. It's at half health. For Raj Nico, they're farming. Are they going to get to the Roche pit in time? It doesn't look like that. Oh, Arise! Arise! Oh, he catches the RP and gets Yule stuck. He's not going to be able to catch anyone out. Just going to skewer onto them, bringing him out. There's your Death Ward RP, and they do blow up 2 of the heroes of NIP. Roshan has already gone down. Nico Baby thinking of going in onto Era. Era plus the BKB. Requiem of Souls as well. There is the Aegis, of course, on Era. Now Arise, Pure Evil, Nico Baby. They're heading towards Era. Nico Baby has got the Shadow Dance. Will pop in and continues to chase as Arise. Also blinks up to the high ground. Jonas and Fanny gets on the Saunter Arise, and Era just turning around with the damage. Fish will hold Era back for the time being, but Arise can force himself out. He's going to look for the TP, and he might just make it. He will. We're going to see Nico Baby take down the Bat Rider. Era doesn't. Oh, he doesn't find it. He is able to get the TP off there. Era not finding the kill. Gems on the deck, and Nico Baby gets himself out. They do let Unknown get the Roshan.
Wait, they didn't see the gem.
A few kills off it. There's no one seen the gem.
Yeah, Hansken just came back and casually picked it up, and he's going to take it back to base. It looks like only Nip realized that he was carrying that.
So that was a bit of a mess, but the fact that, I don't know, Nico Baby stayed alive throughout it all, Era stayed alive through it all,
it could have went a lot worse for Nip, though, to be honest, because Era did not have a TP scroll, so when he was caught in the pit, I actually thought for a second he would just die twice, because there was still Shadow Dance available at the beginning of the engagement after the Requiem was used. Like, you saw that Nico Baby had the bloodlust in his eyes, like he wanted to kill Era so bad. But as soon as he gets force staffed out of the pit, fight is salvaged. Even if your Bat Rider dies, that's not as important as maintaining the Aegis on the SF for the next time you want to push, because that means you can actually have him go high ground and hit the tier 3s. That's pretty much the hardest part for Nip right now is just trying to find a way to break base. Like, this Aegis is supposed to be able to do it for them, but I don't know if it will now.
Blink Dagger is going to be the item of choice here for Era. BKB is being completed by Hansken on this
That's like so all in. Like that's just saying, I need to be able to blink on top of a lasso for a Requiem kill or something like that, and then try to just end the game. Like, otherwise, you would just buy like Butterfly, or you would buy like Lifesteal, anything that gives you some kind of carry potential. Even like Crit would like transition better into the late game than a blink. So this to me says that they just want to go.
Arise, he's getting very close to his refresher. In fact, he's got it. That's refresher now on the Magnus, and he's just touching on picking up level 16 as well. So the next fight, NIP, it's going to be a tough one for them. It really is. Basically, and they've got everything ready at their disposal to deal with any kind of grouping up from NIP.
I'm honestly concerned, like NIP, even though they're leading right now, I actually don't think that with this type of a lead, that it's enough to crack base. Like, maybe if they fight outside of the base, that would be the ideal thing.
We're going to see TPs away from base line. Straight away, there'll be a stampede, trying to get themselves close to personal. Nico Baby just pops the BKB, looks for the TP out. Seal kick, where's the feed script? He can't find it. Couldn't quite get himself in range.
Notoriously slow cast speed, Spain. Honestly, if they buff that hero's cast speeds, he would be like top tier in my opinion. Everything about him is slow except for his movement speed. His attack animation's slow, all his cast animations are slow. He doesn't have eyes.
He doesn't have eyes.
He doesn't.
Are you suggesting they should add eyes? Would
That's
that be a
probably why it
suitable
takes
buff?
him so long to cast his abilities. Can't see what he's doing.
Good analyst there from Jurassic.
No problem. That's what I'm here
It
for.
is indeed. It's what we pay you for, man. But still, as you said, it's going to be hard for NIP to break the base. Basically unknown unless they get caught out outside of it. Jonathan Fan, he's got an Invis rune. Looking for a jump in here with a Lasso, and a jump in with a Lasso would be big if he catches out someone like a Rise.
Yeah, if he gets mag, it's amazing.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Alright.
Dire's top tower is under
It's still kind of
attack.
tough though, because there still is a Blink Shaker.
Dire's structures are
Order
fortified.
fortification will be popped. Error. Standing on the high ground still doing the damage to the tier 3 Fisher. It's just the tick.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, alright.
Wait, what?
He's hit him. Rise loves
Why?
his RP cancelling. He loves it.
Yeah, but he even force staff. Like, I'm so confused.
Fallen.
Like, why would he force staff?
Is that your Skadi now complete on the Slark? I'm seeing a yep, that is. Okay, so Slark now a Skadi as well, and I was talking about the fact that Slark would catch up. Look at the network, he's straight up there, and the Lasso initiation has been used onto Shikamanen though. And nothing's going to come about it.
Yeah, they can't go anymore. And now, actually, basically, no one want to go on them, I think.
And it's just so hard for NIP to break this base. They really can't do it. And yeah, I mean, Nico Baby, he is pretty much as scary as the Shadow Fiend now at this point.
Even scarier,
Yeah.
to be honest. Like, Shadow Fiend, he bought a Blink Dagger, right? So it's basically like saying, I want to try to end. And they did try to go high ground. They got tier 3, which wasn't too bad. Nothing really happened. But the Aegis is probably going to be down by the time they want to fight again. And as we say that, it just fades. So no more Aegis up. Immediate smoke from basically Unknown. They realize that their team fight is actually stronger. Like, they have so many AoE disables. And no matter who they catch, it's just they're dead.
They're smoking up and they're heading into the jungle. They've found Limp. He will blink himself away, but Nico Baby maybe going to continue to chase this one down. See if he can get that one touch. And there's going to be the good Limp here, bringing back Limp into a whole world of pain. He may be tanky, but he's not tanky enough. He's going to go down here. Nico Baby able to get the kill. Unstoppable streak here for Slark. And, I mean, you've got to be careful on NIP. You can't be caught alone, but at the same time, you can't really be caught together because Unknown, they've got the control for team fights.
Yeah, their late game transition is monstrously strong. That's the problem that Nip are going to be running into, is they have so many AoE disables, like Shaker, Agnes, Witch Doctor Cask apparently stunlocks heroes for like 30 seconds, and you almost kill 2 cores alone as a position 4. Like, there's a lot of things that you have to worry about, and the reality is, Shadow Fiend is not an amazing ultra late game hero. He just never has been. He's very good at farming fast, and then once he has his items, he ends the game.
Oh, Hansken.
Nice, fine. Oh no, he missed the stun.
Oh.
He doesn't have disable. There we go. I was gonna say he doesn't have Basher, but Arise was close enough. The old 4-staff Blinkerino.
I mean, Bat picks up a BKB, but I guess it's nice against a fair bit of damage, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to save you if you're jumping into this lineup.
Radiant's top tower
Absolutely
is under
not.
attack.
The you can't force F out of pounce anyway.
Radiant's top tower has
So if you get caught by Nico, you're just a goner. The only thing you can do is BKB and try to walk it off. But with Scotty and SNY, the option of walking away doesn't really seem so great.
Scaring away Era there with the right clicks.
Yeah, Era's even gone back for bots, so he's going for more of the ratty build, I guess. Be able to split push lanes out a bit, pressure a bit harder.
Lasu pops the BKB and just backs up. Now force stops himself forward, but Nico Baby with the Shadow Dance will just simply run away.
That's
Even
the
with the
second
Stampede,
time
they
he's
can't
done
dodge.
that. He's done that 2 times. He's blinked in, he hasn't lassoed at all, and then he just goes away. Now, if you're going to expend a 10-second BKB, you better lasso. Like, there's no reason not to.
He couldn't lasso straight because of the dart pack, though.
Yeah.
He was waiting for that to come off, and
I guess it was just a bad timing.
Yeah, it was unfortunately he had to pop the BKB even though he didn't want to commit. Yeah, it's true.
But the other time mid when that happened, Era got his own BKB baited out. So.
Okay. Not quite sure what Disruptor was doing there.
He was farming. There was a creep wave there.
There was also a Shadow Fiend there.
Don't judge him, Owen.
Well, let's see what's going to happen now, as we might see a clash here on the bottom lane. Nico Baby coming right out, so's Arise as well. He's got to go straight in onto Limp, trying to get this Jax. There's an RP, very nicely onto Limp, and the Echo Slap pull up as well. Arise, he refreshes, but he doesn't need the second RP. They've already killed 2. They might find more here as Era's trying to retreat out as well. And the buybacks are forced out by both of the heroes on the side of NRP, maybe thinking that they can fight back into this, but I think Unknown, they'll just back off, and the buybacks, they're not going to achieve anything.
No, not really. Well, I mean, they're going to have to buy back anyway, I think, just because of the pressure that basically Unknown might be able to apply here. And they could also be anticipating Roshan. And that could be the main reason why. Like, that's actually exactly why they bought back, is Roshan. Because the thing is, the normal timer is already up. So this is the one that varies, the 1 to 3 minutes.
Ooh, Anderson fan wants to find a Lasu. Is he really going to go for this, though? There's a lot of horrible things here. He goes for it anyway. Pops the BKB. He's found Pure Evil, and they will be able to bring down the Disruptor. Can they find anything else? Arrives there with the RP, and here we go from the sideline. Look at this Death Ward from across the tree line. 2-3 heroes down. Shaman finding a double kill here on the Witch Doctor. And now Era's just trying to get out. The power to come from the bashes from Nico Baby. Bring him down as well. It's a 4-for-2 trade. That Death Ward there across the tree line. Fantastic play from the Witch Doctor, and a great setup from Arise, who throws his life away, but in doing so, finds himself in the position to get a perfect RP.
I don't know, man. Like, this is what I was saying about Nip's advantage just not really seeming like an advantage, because their team fight is so much weaker than basically Unknown's. Like, they have to get a perfect initiation. They have to get a lasso and Centaur ulti on top of that to pull somebody so far away that no one from basically Unknown can help them. And it's just so hard to do that.
And when they do it on a Disruptor as well, I mean, it just doesn't matter. You can kill the Disruptor as much as you want, but it's so many more things that you've got to be very scared of when you're trying to continue to fight against basically Unknown's lineup. Off the back of that fight, they will lose this tier 2 when they don't. Do they want to try and go for more here? Do basically Unknown continue this push? There's only 2 up. It's just a Lina and a Bane, and they're going to stick around for a little bit. They do back up now as Batrider returns to the map. But still, now we're seeing Nico Baby top of the board, 24,000 net worth, 3k above Era, and I don't see Era catching back up for the rest of this game.
No. I mean, he has only died twice, so it's not like Era's having a bad game.
No, not at all, yeah.
It's just, against the Slark, you cannot out-carry him as Shadow Fiend, because you're never going to have the damage to kill him quick enough to where he's not going to just like massacre your entire team in that time. Like, the Requiem is nice for the damage reduction, but it doesn't really last long enough, and Slark is a very slippery hero, so he can just re-engage whenever he wants. He's got 3,000 health. And with Empower, he hits for 400 damage. Like, how do you deal with that? The Shadow Fiend hits for roughly half his damage.
Roshan is up. There is also a double damage rune there as well. So if Era's able to claim that could
Are they
help
baiting
out
the
a
DD?
lot.
I guess so. And no one has a bottle that can actually make use of it. Like, the Batrider can get it, but a double damage Batrider, like, who cares, honestly? And basically Unknown just waiting the Roshan out here, realizing that Nipper are eventually going to have to depush something. Era does have bots, so he can TP to the middle creep wave if they're going to be going on this Roshan.
So the side of basically Unknown being very, very timid in terms of going in. Now they'll go in. Slark pounces forward and he starts to work his way through Roshan himself. NIP, if they're ready to try and contest this.
If he gets this, it's going to be so bad for Nip.
Yeah.
Like, they absolutely need to fight this.
There's a fan trying to head himself up to the high ground, but Nico Baby's actually pounced himself back out of the pit. You will see that Roshan's gone down a little bit. Now Nico Baby just goes back in. He continues to work his way. And NIP, they're not really in a position to come into this one. The damage is certainly real, and Relax coming in to help commit as well. Down to half health here.
They're too scared. Like, they don't want to go in and fight. In this area, basically Unknown's team fight is ridiculously strong, even in comparison to what it normally is.
And that's it. Yeah, Roshan's going to go down. It's going to go to the side of basically Unknown. And that will be your Aegis. On to Magus, interesting enough, and Cheese into the Slark. The fight's kicking off. It's the man, and he does get caught out here. Witch Doctor gets blown up. Nice light strike away, and the Laguna Blade will bring down Disruptor. So that's two very nice kills there for the side of NIP. They might even find Nico Baby as well with this Fiend script. They hold him in place for the time being. He's able to dart packed it off, does pounce away with the Shadow Dance. Has, of course, got that Cheese. The Magnus's Arise. Has lost the Aegis. Gets an RP once, gets a second one, but it's only on to one. A bit of a mess there from Arise. They might lose him as he gets caught out by a light strike array. We did see Nico Baby take down the Batrider. Arise gets a skill onto the high ground as Centaur will be able to, of course, blink back down. Arise loses his life. Nico Baby doesn't die, though, in that fight. But even so, that could have gone a lot better for basically Unknown, but it was just a little bit of a mess.
Yeah, the start of the fight was kind of awkward. He got lasted onto a cliff, forced to use his own force staff to get back down to the low ground. In that time, Nico was getting focused by 4 members of NIP. The Witch Doctor, the Shaker, and the Disruptor basically did nothing that whole fight. Like, they didn't exist. Because there was no Death Horde, there was no Static Storm, no Echo, or anything. It was just everyone was so far out of position, and Nico was off on his own. So when the Aegis gets popped, you still have everything available, but no one is in position to help. Because I think they all went to try to save Nico, and then Nico just ran away. He didn't even use his cheese. No. Like, that guy's got some balls. He had like 10% HP, didn't cheese, didn't BKB, just casually walked it off, and then came back in and killed the Batrider. And then that was his contribution to the team fight.
Arrow now claiming himself a butterfly on this Shadow Fiend. So certainly going to help with the damage output, but still isn't going to want to find himself in a 1v1 with Nico Baby here. I mean, Nico Baby obviously anticipating the butterfly. Do you think he needs to go for an MKB here on this Heroes' next item?
There's no reason not to.
Yeah.
Like, you can sell the SNY for the Ultra late game too, if you want. Because it's the cheapest item in your inventory, basically, that doesn't grant you magic immunity and isn't your boots. So, yeah, you can definitely go MKB in this spot. And that more or less means that the SF is going to get wrecked every single time.
Alright, finds himself an Invis-Rune. Maybe they can kick something off with this. He heads straight towards the mid lane, but basically Unknown keeping themselves in the high ground. They do have all the ultimates back up and available for this defense if NIP do choose to take a fight here.
It's very tense still, because the Slark still has cheese, and fighting into that. The reason you give the cheese to the Slark is because, as we just saw, even with 3 or 4 heroes focusing him, he still doesn't die. So you want to give it to a hero who has a higher chance of just dying before he can react. And in that sense, the Magnus was definitely the right choice. But I don't know, man. Nip, like this Bane, it's 47 minutes in. This Bane has a cloak and arcane boots. Like, that is just, that's painful. Even the Disruptor at least has a Glimmer Cape.
Gonna have to do some de-warding here, the side of basically Unknown. But I don't know. I mean, as you said, NIP, do you feel that they do kind of feel that they are on a timer at the moment and they do need to force a fight, or because at the moment they seem to be a little bit content and just hanging back and just farming up the creep waves in the jungles?
I mean, I guess if you want to eventually transition your Lina into a core, you can do that, but she doesn't have Aghanims, so the Laguna Blade isn't really as threatening. You can't use it through BKB either, unless you have the Aghanims upgrade. So if the Slark BKBs, it's kind of like God mode for him. I think it's not really ideal for Nip to delay the game any longer than they already have.
Oh, here we go. Basically Unknown smoked up towards the top lane. Hans Ken blinks himself out. Jonathan Fan might get caught out here. Nico Baby's found him. Will find the touch, but the force staff is there to buy him some time. But they're getting hold of that. Will set to right hand. He'll use it onto Hansken. Now Limp jumps in with the Who Stop. Error on to arrive with the Beam Strip as well. They'll bring him down. There's your Echo Sound. And the Death Ward is doing a lot here. Limp, he's trying to get close and personal with the Wind Strokes. The Flame Break will cancel the Death Ward. It's a 1-for-2 so far. Now the Lasso onto the Earthshaker. Error's been caught in the Static Storm with Limp. And now they're turning their attention to Nico Baby. Error loses his life. Nico Baby, now he eats the cheese. He goes on to Limp. And now they look for Batrider. Batrider gets himself to the low ground. Ends up a 4-for-2. NIP not having a lot of fun in that fight.
Late game Slark, man. What can you do? There's just like no way of killing him at this point. Like, how do you kill Nico? When he bought Midas, I shouldn't have questioned it. Like every time he buys Midas, it seems like the game just delays long enough to the point where the Midas ends up being a good purchase. And it's happened 2 games in a row now, so. Nico managing to make it to the stage in the game where his hero is more or less a god.
Pretty much, and I mean the farm here, of course, as well. Top lane, the man. Got himself that Shadow Blade. He's trying to walk himself out, but of course the gem on the Batrider means that invisibility is nothing. Batrider does get glimmers back. Pure Evil gonna see if he can find himself a solo kill. Meanwhile, Nico Baby, he's just killing people. Just killed the Bane. BKB will be popped by Jonas from Papa. Relax at this point with the enchant totem back. Punches. It doesn't matter. And actually gems on the ground.
They got triple buyback, but they are not using any of them. And they're just gonna let Nico take this for free.
They're gonna need to do something. There's a buyback.
It's dead already. Like they glyphed. He just gets the racks. He even does get a buyback, but they don't even defend the racks.
Things slowly but surely falling apart here for the side of NIP. It's... I mean, what can I guess, as you said, the best thing really for them to look to is transitioning this Lina into something a little bit more scary, but she's quite a fair way away from that.
She's too far, yeah. There's not going to be any scary transition into core Lina in this game. It's probably just going to be over the next couple of team fights. Now, Roshan potentially spawning soon, like 2 minutes before we see the actual timer. Shaker now picking himself up a Lincoln, so he can just put that on the Slark, and then all of a sudden, if he BKBs and he has Lincolns, that means you can't last. You'd have to do both. Like, you'd have to use Lasso to break the Lincolns while BKB is active, and then you'd have to use the other spell after that. But 6-slotted Slark, pretty much. I mean, he can still buy Moonshard, actually.
Oh, and I guess he can get rid of the SMY, as you were saying, if he wants to finish it off with someone else.
He'll probably hold on to it, though.
Yeah.
I think buying Moonshard is a better investment because a 60 attack speed when you've already sold your treads is great. And he doesn't need Butterfly because he just can't die to right clicks.
Hansken gets caught out. Will put the BKB to back. Shed the Abyssal Blade is there, holding the Lina in place. Hansken goes down for 70 seconds. And indeed, this is not a great position for NIP. It's going to be a 4v5 situation. As basically, I know they're ready to start to get the push on. They're ready to go to the high ground and look for a second set of racks. Nico Baby pants his back and says, "Empower me." And they rise. Will indeed comply. And these structures are going to be falling quickly. Honest and Fan just gets glimpsed back. He's not going to be able to find himself with a suit to death. And Error doing his best to clear up the wings. Now they do catch him out the Houston, but the dark back there, the suit gets taken off straight away. Arise finds an RP onto Lim. The Lincoln's really bought onto Rise, but now the statics of the Death Ward as well from the side of Unknown, forcing NRT back. They lose the Centaur Warren, and they're going to lose a second set of racks here on the bottom lane. It's not looking great. And he goes back in. He's trying to find it, but was there being some major glimpse into the Fisher? And now Stamana goes straight in, forcing out the BKB here from Batrider. Flame Break hits them all on the side of basically Unknown, but I don't know, man. I think you said it yourself. Okay, the top here evil, but it looks like Error may pay with his life. Maledict's on him, so's Nico Baby. Error blows up. He has got buyback. He will use it. They do have everyone apart from the Centaur, but in response, Disruptor buys back himself. He wants to try and find his way back towards the fight, but this is at a point where NIP, they're down 2 sets of racks, and they just can't kill this Slark.
I mean, that's pretty much the moral of this game, is they can't kill Slark. Like, what do you do? It's going to be item purchase here. It is going to be the Moon Shard, I believe. No, he's going back for Butterfly. Okay, so he's going to sell his SNY. But Moon Shards, man, come on.
Apparently, you know, in that the game where Error was playing Leshrac, he did buy Moonshells.
He did?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I was watching a good old chat, and when we both said, I don't think he did, everyone was like, he did, he did. So
Thank you, Twitch
we missed
chat.
that one. Thank you.
Maybe one day.
Actually, yeah, maybe Twitch chat live. Actually, that's a good point.
Oh, come on.
Get a couple.
They're like 9K MMR.
That's a good point, Angle.
Why would they lie? There's no reason to.
I always rely on Twitch chat. It's a very factual case. Magnus has the Aegis. Basically unknown. They take Roshan and IP. They want to fight. The Anderson fan will find. No, he's relax. He's got a Lincoln Sphere. Surprise! Chonga and now Nika Baby goes in with the Abyssal Blade onto Hanskid, trying to bring him down. Arise and Fury, but he gets caught out. They'll bring down the Disrupt. No, the mech. He's keeping alive. The Darko slam. The dunks are real. They've lost the Disrupt on the side of Base. Everyone is incredibly low on the side of NIP, but NIP, they're actually doing alright. Yeah, they might find the Earthshaker. Oh no, hang on. Nico Baby's turned up to the party on his slug. He's got a Shadow Dance as well. He could just look to take down Limb. The Essence shifts are stacking up. And he's just killing
The
it.
shafts of Essence are stacking.
Oh, it's this.
And there's the
GG well
GG.
played.
All right.
And, well,
Very well
NIP.
played series from basically unknown.
Impressive stuff.
I actually thought they were going to get 2-0'd by
Shout
now.
out from the lady. Nico Baby tipping his fedora. It's game over. And NIP. I mean, how many games have we seen them in? 8 games?
Yeah, I think so.
They've
this
won
was 7 and 8.
They did win one,
Right.
didn't they? They did win one.
No, I think they won 2.
Did they win 2?
I think so. Shiver probably
No,
knows.
they
We'll
lost them.
find out
We'll
after
find
we,
out from our analysts, because
Yeah.
that's not our job. We
That's
just
what-
cast the games and then we send you back over to them, and then we go back to our cages and
You know what
wait
happened
until we
today,
need it
right,
again.
Owen? Yesterday there was all stomps.
Yes,
So today it was all very long games.
they were.